True strength begins when you speak less, think less, and channel all your energy into focus. The Machiavellian mindset rejects noise because every unnecessary word and every wasted thought exposes weakness. True strength does not announce itself, nor does it seek validation. It moves in silence, with eyes that observe everything, and a mouth that reveals nothing. Men who rule do not explain. They calculate. They do not chase. They attract through power, through stillness, through an aura that cannot be imitated. Every careless word you release becomes ammunition for others. Every thought you overanalyze becomes hesitation disguised as logic. And hesitation is the silent killer of kings. When you master your silence, you master your enemies. When you stop thinking emotionally, you begin to think strategically. And when your focus becomes absolute, the world quietly bends in your direction. Comment below, power in silence. Let the weak speak, let the strong observe. Because from this moment onward, your silence will scream louder than any voice. Number 1, the death of noise. Why silence is power. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the weapon of control. Weak men fear silence because it exposes their lack of discipline. They fill the air with meaningless words, hoping to sound intelligent, but every word they utter leaks information, emotion, and insecurity. The powerful man knows silence unsettles people. It forces them to fill the void, and in that desperation, they expose their truth. When you speak less, you observe more. You begin to see the motives behind smiles, the truth behind lies, and the patterns behind chaos. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must observe human nature as it is, not as he wishes it to be. Silence lets you witness the raw truth without flinching. The less you speak, the more people project their fears and fantasies onto you, wrapping you in mystery, and mystery breeds influence. In silence, your mind learns to value clarity over comfort. You strip away the noise of opinions and distractions until only precision remains. That is where true power begins, not in noise, not in chaos, but in the cold calm of a mind that owes nothing to the crowd. Comment. Silence commands power. Number 2, the art of thinking less. Mastering the controlled mind. Overthinking is the executioner of power. A man who cannot quiet his mind becomes a prisoner of his thoughts, analyzing, doubting, second-guessing until his instincts decay. The Machiavellian man does not drown in speculation. He acts with cold precision, thinking. Less does not mean ignorance. It means filtering thought through discipline. You think only when it serves purpose. Every idea that does not lead to power, progress, or control is eliminated. The weak think to soothe themselves. The strong think to conquer. In a world addicted to distraction, mastering your mind is rebellion. A controlled mind does not react, it calculates. While others spiral in emotion, you move in silence, ready 3 steps ahead. You become the storm they never saw coming. Machiavelli warned that fortune favors those who act swiftly and decisively. You cannot strike with precision if your hand trembles with hesitation. Stop analyzing what others think of you. Their opinions are reflections of their own. Limits conserve your mental energy like a weapon, sharp and ready. The less you think, the faster you move, the clearer you see. Overthinking kills instinct. Silence sharpens it. Control your mind, and the world will follow. Comment. My mind obeys me. Number 3, focus is the new power, the discipline that builds kings. Focus is the rarest currency of the modern world. Everyone is chasing 1,000 things, scrolling through 1,000 distractions, speaking 1,000 empty words, and achieving nothing. But the man who learns to focus becomes dangerous. He sees through the fog while others are lost in it. In a world built to fracture attention, focus becomes rebellion, a declaration of war against mediocrity. Machiavelli understood this truth. Power is not born from chance, but from concentration. The ruthless narrowing of your energy toward what truly matters. is the foundation of power. The weak crave stimulation, the strong crave results. Every notification, every gossip, every pointless argument, it's all bait, designed to drain your energy and scatter your focus. You must protect your focus like a fortress. Guard it as if your life depends on it, because it does. Power dies in distraction. A man who cannot focus cannot rule. He becomes a slave to every impulse, every emotional shift, every external noise demanding attention. But when you learn to ignore, to detach, to starve distractions of your time, you gain leverage. Your mind becomes a laser, slicing through lies, emotion, and confusion with surgical precision. You stop reacting, you start moving with intent. And soon, others begin to notice something different about you, a stillness, a cold intensity, a presence that commands without speaking. That is focus transformed into aura. That is dominance without noise. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must appear composed even in chaos. In modern terms, it means your mind must remain unshaken while the world burns around you. You stay fixed on your objective, untouched by setbacks, untempted by instant gratification. The man who masters focus masters time. He directs his minutes with purpose, while others waste theirs. He is not hurried. He is not scattered. He moves with precision. Every action is strategic. Every word is deliberate. And slowly, without ever announcing it, he becomes untouchable. Comment: my focus is my fortress. Number 4. Emotional control, the cold engine of power. Emotion is the greatest betrayer of men. It exposes weakness faster than words ever could. The Machiavellian man does not kill emotion. He chains it, bends it, and uses it as fuel for strategy. The modern world glorifies sensitivity and impulsive reaction. But those who rise understand that control is not suppression, it is domination. To control your emotions is to control the battlefield within yourself. Every time you react in anger, you reveal your pressure points. Every time you chase validation, you expose your hunger to be seen. A need is vulnerability. It is the crack through which others infiltrate your mind. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must appear compassionate when it serves his purpose, ruthless when it protects his throne, and indifferent when emotion would betray him. You must become the same, cold when required, calm when provoked, composed when chaos surrounds you. Power respects emotional distance. It is the invisible armor that lifts you above the noise of the weak. When others panic, you think. When others rage, you calculate. When others doubt, you decide. The man who commands his emotions becomes a fortress, impenetrable, unpredictable, untouchable. Even pain becomes a weapon, because you no longer suffer from it. You study it, you learn from it, you convert it into wisdom and control. To live by emotion is to die by manipulation. To rule emotion is to command perception. This is not about being heartless, it is about being strategic. You show emotion when it grants advantage, and conceal it when it gives away power. Cold does not mean cruel. It means disciplined. The world cannot break what does not react. When you master emotion, you stop being human prey and start becoming human power. Comment: my calm is my weapon. Number 5. The power of detachment. Freedom through indifference. Detachment is the highest form of strength, the art of walking through fire without burning, of losing everything and remaining unmoved. The weak cling to outcomes, to people, to approval. They beg to be seen, to be chosen, to be validated. But the Machiavellian man stands apart, not because he is cold by nature, but because he understands that attachment is the leash that drags men to their knees. When you are attached to a relationship, a goal, a reputation, you hand it the keys to your peace. It becomes your master, and the moment something controls your peace, it controls your decisions. That is how empires fall. That is how kings lose thrones. That is how strong men become predictable. Detachment breaks that chain. It teaches you that true power lies in wanting without needing, in desiring without desperation, in pursuing without losing balance. This is not apathy, it is control. You can care deeply about your mission while being emotionally indifferent to whether others understand it. You can love someone without becoming enslaved by their presence. You can chase greatness without fearing loss because you've already accepted that everything external is temporary. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors those who rely on themselves rather than fate. Detachment is the embodiment of that truth. It means you no longer depend on chance, emotion, or approval to define your worth. You become self-contained. Your focus, your strength, your peace, all revolve within your own gravity. People feel it when you're detached. They sense it, and it unsettles them because the world feeds on reaction, on control, on emotional hooks. But you've cut the strings. They can't manipulate you because you've mastered the art of not needing them. The detached man plays every game from above. He observes, he calculates, and he acts only when the odds are right. Never from impulse, never from fear. This is the secret of kings, generals, and conquerors, to stand amid chaos and remain unmoved. Detachment isn't isolation, it's power. When you stop chasing, everything begins to come to you. When you stop clinging, everything flows naturally. You stop forcing and start attracting. You stop being a slave to emotion and become a master of direction. Detachment isn't coldness, it's freedom. It's the ability to walk away with calm eyes and steady hands while others beg for closure. That is the posture of dominance. That is the silence of a man who owns himself. Comment, I am untouchable. Number 6, strategic ruthlessness, the power to cut without hesitation. Power demands ruthlessness. Not cruelty, not chaos, but precision in decision-making. The Machiavellian man understands that mercy without strategy is weakness disguised as virtue. In the world where everyone preaches kindness but few practice strength, you must learn to cut without hesitation when the moment requires it. Strategic ruthlessness is the art of acting without emotion, making decisions based on logic and power, not guilt or fear. You cannot build an empire by trying to please everyone. You cannot lead if you're afraid to offend. To move forward, you must burn bridges, close doors, and sever alliances that no longer serve your vision. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must not hesitate to do evil if it preserves his power, not because evil is good, but because indecision is fatal. Weak men delay, and in delay they die. Ruthlessness is not destruction. It is discipline. It's the ability to remove what's unnecessary, to cut off weakness before it spreads. You don't hate the person you cut off. You simply recognize that their role in your strategy has ended. You don't feel guilt for choosing ambition over comfort. You feel clarity. The ruthless man doesn't seek conflict, but he never avoids it when required. He moves like a blade, swift, silent, and decisive. Understand this: life is chess, not charity. Every move either strengthens your position or weakens it. The Machiavellian mindset demands that you eliminate distractions, traitors, and emotional liabilities with the same cold precision a general uses to remove a failing soldier. Not from cruelty, but from purpose. Strategic ruthlessness means prioritizing the mission over the moment, the vision over emotion, the empire over ego. The world will call you heartless, but only because they fear what they cannot control. When you can walk away from anyone, end anything, and choose your path without hesitation, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. Remember, the man who cannot say no when needed is already conquered. To hesitate is to lose leverage. To act decisively is to command time itself. Be kind when it's strategic. Be compassionate when it strengthens loyalty. Be cold when it secures your throne. Never mistake hesitation for morality. The world rewards results, not remorse. The ruthless man sleeps peacefully because his conscience serves his purpose, not his guilt. Comment, decisive, cold, unstoppable. Number 7, calculated presence, the aura that commands without words. True power doesn't shout. It enters a room and changes the atmosphere. The Machiavellian man understands that presence isn't appearance. It's energy, control, and timing. You don't earn respect by asking for it. You command it through how you move, how you look, and how you refuse to react. Presence is a psychological weapon. When mastered, it intimidates, seduces, and dominates without a single word. The average man seeks attention. The powerful man attracts it. He enters a space with the calm assurance of one who needs nothing. That's what makes people pay attention, not loudness, but self-sufficiency. When you stop chasing approval, your aura transforms. People feel it. They sense your indifference to validation, your quiet confidence, and it unnerves them. You become unpredictable, unreadable, and mystery to the human mind is irresistible. Machiavelli understood that a ruler must appear confident and composed even in moments of uncertainty, because perception shapes reality. If people believe you are powerful, you already are. Your goal is not to prove your strength, it's to project inevitability. Every movement must be deliberate, every glance precise, every silence intentional. When you speak, do it with conviction. Few words, strong tone, controlled pace. Every pause must feel like a decision. Every look must carry weight. You owe no one an explanation. Your actions speak louder than defense ever could. The man who explains himself has already surrendered half his authority. The man who says less commands more. Control your posture, your expressions, your reactions. The weak are transparent. The powerful are opaque. When you cultivate stillness, people begin to overthink around you, and that gives you power. They start projecting intentions onto your silence, fearing motives that may not even exist. And in that uncertainty, they become predictable. This is how great leaders rule, not through constant assertion, but through the silent manipulation of perception. You must become a mirror, reflecting others while revealing nothing. That is how you dominate without conflict, through psychological gravity. Remember this, your presence must make people feel something even when you do nothing. The Machiavellian man's aura is built on contrast, calm yet dangerous, detached yet aware, silent yet commanding. It's the energy of a man who doesn't compete for attention, because he is attention. Master presence, and you'll never need persuasion again. Comment, my silence speaks authority. Number 8, dominating through observation, seeing what others miss. Observation is the purest form of intelligence. It's what separates the predator from the prey, the strategist from the fool. Most men look, but few truly see. They skim the surface, reacting to faces, words, gestures. But the Machiavellian man studies the undercurrents, tone, timing, tension, contradiction. He reads the spaces between words, the pauses that expose truth, the micro-expressions that betray intent. The world reveals itself to the man who knows how to stay still and watch. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must understand men's true natures, not their appearances. That means realizing most people speak not to reveal, but to conceal. Every compliment hides a motive. Every promise carries a weakness. Every outburst is a confession of powerlessness. Observation lets you gather ammunition while revealing nothing. The wise man never rushes to respond. He waits. He allows others to unveil themselves. He creates silence, the kind that makes others uncomfortable. And in that silence, truth spills out. When you watch long enough, patterns emerge. You begin to see that humans are predictable machines, driven by emotion. Their habits expose their hierarchy of needs. The ambitious crave recognition. The insecure crave reassurance. The weak crave approval. Once you identify what drives someone, you can predict their next move. You stop chasing outcomes and begin guiding them. This is how kings and tacticians have ruled for centuries, not with brute force, but with insight. Knowledge is leverage, and leverage is silent power. Observation also builds emotional immunity. When you see through manipulation, you no longer fall for it. You stop reacting to provocation because you understand the purpose behind it. You become untouchable because nothing surprises you. Every insult becomes data. Every betrayal becomes a lesson. Every conversation becomes a chessboard. But observation demands ego death, the ability to step outside yourself and see without bias. You must destroy the need to prove, to defend, to interrupt. Let others underestimate you. That's your camouflage. While they speak to impress, you watch to assess. The man who listens learns more in 10 minutes than the talker learns in 10 years. And in that silence, your mind sharpens. You begin to sense energy, who's authentic, who's concealing something, who's subtly trying to take control of the room. You stop reacting to words and start responding to intention. The more you observe, the less visible you become. You shift from being a participant to becoming the puppeteer. Once you master observation, power stops feeling like effort because it's no longer a guess. It's precision. You don't waste strength convincing others. You simply align your actions with what you already know will unfold. That's why your influence feels almost supernatural. To those who don't understand it, they call it intuition. But it's simply disciplined observation, always. Remember, in every interaction, someone is being studied. Make sure it's never you, the one who speaks, reveals his cards. The one who listens builds his empire. Observation is patience weaponized. The art of knowing more than you say and saying less than you know. When you truly learn to see, you stop being a piece on the board and start becoming the one moving the pieces. Comment, I see everything. Number 9, the law of emotional distance. Controlling others without force. The greatest men in history didn't conquer with armies. They conquered with distance. Emotional distance is invisible dominance. The quiet mastery of control without confrontation, of influence without strain. The Machiavellian man never chases affection, validation, or understanding. He creates them. He does so by remaining just far enough away to be desired, yet close enough to hold control. Humans are programmed to crave what they can't completely possess, and the man who understands that becomes magnetic. When you're emotionally distant, people invest more effort into reaching you. They start to crave your approval, your attention, your warmth, and that longing gives you leverage. Machiavelli understood that men are driven more by fear and hope than reason, and emotional distance manipulates both. You give just enough to ignite hope, then pull back to spark fear of loss. That rhythm creates obedience disguised as affection. They call it loyalty. Attraction, respect, but it's psychological submission. The weak expose their emotions too soon, revealing their hunger for connection. The strong delay gratification, and in that patience, they control the entire dynamic. You must learn to ration your attention like a currency. Spend it only when it strengthens your position, never when it costs your command. Every emotional reaction weakens your authority. If someone can provoke you, they possess you. But when you stay calm, detached and unreadable, you possess them, because nothing terrifies the world more than a man who cannot be emotionally manipulated. He becomes a mirror, reflecting others' insecurities back at them. Emotional distance isn't coldness, it's discipline. It's the art of withholding emotion. Until it serves purpose, you can care deeply, but you must never depend. Dependence breeds control. And once you depend, you've already surrendered. To master distance, you must also master silence. You don't explain your motives. You don't justify your absences. You let others fill the blanks with their own fantasies. That mystery fuels your influence. It makes people compete for your attention, question where they stand, and try harder to earn what you never freely give. You turn emotional chaos into a psychological chess match, one you always win because you never play from need. Emotional distance grants you dominance in every kind of relationship, romantic, professional, social. It keeps you in control of choice, while others linger in uncertainty. That's where true power hides, not in aggression, but in restraint. The man who can walk away without hesitation cannot be conquered. The world chases what retreats and fears what it cannot read. Become that paradox, approachable yet unreachable, present yet untouchable. That is the essence of Machiavellian influence. It's not cruelty, it's leverage. It's leading through absence, commanding through silence, and owning attention through scarcity. Because when people realize they can't fully have you, they never stop trying. And that's when you rule without effort. Comment. My distance commands respect. Number 10. Becoming untouchable, the final evolution of power. Becoming untouchable is not about perfection. It's not about perfection. It's about transformation. It's the moment when your mind, emotions, and actions align with such precision that nothing external can dictate your state. The Machiavellian man becomes untouchable not by escaping life, but by mastering his response to it. He views people, circumstances, and emotions as instruments, tools to be used, not forces to be feared. While ordinary men crumble under rejection, failure, or betrayal, the untouchable man remains calm, steady, and dangerously composed. He knows true control isn't achieved by resisting the storm, but by becoming the storm, silent, potent, and unpredictable. To be untouchable is to transcend reaction. No insult can shake you. No loss can define you. No praise can inflate you. You become your own balance point. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must be both lion and fox, bold when power demands it, and cunning when strategy requires it. The untouchable man embodies both, quiet strength fused with tactical intelligence. His emotions no longer control him. His mission does. Every move is intentional, every silence deliberate. Every decision stripped of fear and need. That's why he wins, because he cannot be provoked, baited, or manipulated. He has conquered the only enemy that matters, himself. And that is the rarest victory of all. The untouchable man isn't emotionless. He's emotionally sovereign. He feels deeply but decides which emotions deserve expression and which deserve execution. Weak men are ruled by emotion. Strong men wield it like a blade, turning anger into drive, pain into growth, and rejection into clarity. You don't seek revenge. You become it through success. You don't beg to be understood. You let silence translate your results. That is cold power, strength without display, dominance without desperation. You become unreadable, unshakable, unmoved by the noise of lesser minds. You detach from drama, gossip, and every distraction that dilutes your focus. Your attention sharpens. Your aura solidifies. Your movements become precise, a dance between patience and power. People mistake your distance for arrogance. But it isn't arrogance, it's evolution. You've outgrown their frequency. You've transcended validation, replaced approval with strategy, and turned solitude into sovereignty. You no longer chase power. You are power. You walk with quiet certainty because you know you can survive loss, endure solitude, and rebuild from ashes. The untouchable man doesn't fear being alone. He thrives in it. Solitude is his forge, where he recalibrates, refines, and reignites his dominance. The world fears the man who no longer needs it. Understand this: to be untouchable is to live by principle, not impulse. Your standards become your shield. Your discipline becomes your defense. You stop explaining your choices because they're rooted in clarity, not compromise. You grant loyalty through alignment, not emotion. You give your time to those who earn it, never to those who demand it. The Machiavellian mindset isn't cruelty. It's control, power shaped by realism, not fantasy. You don't ask for respect. You command it through consistency. You don't search for peace. You create it by eliminating chaos. To be untouchable is to orbit around purpose, not distraction. You don't fear failure, because failure has become part of your formula. You don't fear betrayal, because no one holds enough of you to destroy you. You've mastered the truth most men never grasp. The less they can touch your emotions, the less they can touch your power. So from this moment on, move with intent. Speak less, think clearly, act precisely. Build your empire in silence, and let them wonder how you never broke. That is the Machiavellian way, to conquer without noise, rule without a crown, and dominate without display. You are not in competition. You are in command. And that, my friend, is the final stage of evolution. Comment, "I am untouchable," and let that be your oath. If this message resonates like this video,